अब नाज़रीन आप प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं वीनस विद कम्युनिटी। मैं हूं अदनान खान। आज हम जो बातें डिस्कस करेंगे वो होगी कि हमारा जनरल इलेक्शन है जो 7 मई को हो रहा है, उसमें हमारे एशियन लोग कितना पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं और जो हमारी यहाँ की मेन पोलिटिकल पार्टीज़ हैं उनकी जो पॉलिसीज़ हैं वो किस लिहाज से वो कहते हैं कि एशियन को लेबर की पॉलिसी ज़्यादा सूट करती है या टोरी की या लिबरल डैम की या किसी और पार्टी की। इस पे आज हम जनरल डिस्कशन करेंगे। मैं आपको अपने मेहमानों से मिलवाता हूँ, फिर हम डिबेट का बाकायदा आगाज़ करते हैं। सबसे पहले अनीता जी, आप प्लीज़ अपना।
My name is Anita Kapoor. I'm Vice President of the Ealing Southall Conservative Association and also an ex-councillor.
अगले मेहमान
my name is Gurcharan Singh. I'm the parliamentary candidate for Slough and is a Conservative parliamentary candidate. Hoping to turn over the majority of the Labour Party from there.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Kulveer Ranger. I'm a former Vice Chairman of the Conservative Party nationally for cities and was the Transport Advisor to Boris Johnson at the GLA, who's the Mayor of London.
And you are ex-mayor? Or?
I used to work for the Mayor as his advisor.
Okay, the next question.
My name is Councillor Swaran Singh Kang. I'm the Labour Councillor from Ealing Borough. And I'm here to just support the Labour Party manifesto for our Southall, for our Asian and ethnic minority people.
Thank you, Councillor.
Hello, I'm Councillor Gamaljeet Kaur Nagbal from the London Borough of Ealing, representing Southall Broadway Ward.
Zafir Bhatti sahab.
My name is Councillor Muhammad Zafir Bhatti and MBE, and also I was a town councillor, district councillor and county councillor, and I'm now contesting for the town and district council, Chesham Buckinghamshire Children District Council.
थैंक यू। ये तो हैं हमारे वो लोग जो डायरेक्टली इससे इन्वॉल्व हैं इस सिस्टम के साथ, और हमारे 3 मेहमान ऐसे हैं जो उसको बड़ा डीप क्लोजली ऑब्जर्व करते हैं और इस पार्ट का हिस्सा भी हैं इस सारे सिस्टम का, एज ए वोटर, एज ए ऑब्जर्वर। मुनव्वर हयात साहब, आप।
जी, मेरा नाम मुनव्वर हयात है। The only introduction I have got is I'm a businessman and I have lived here for a very long time.
Moinuddin Nawab, political analyst.
Thank you. Sheikh Saab.
My name is Shahjahan Afsab. Actually, I'm living in Wembley for a few years now, and I'm a businessman, and I've got my active views about different political parties in UK. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start with Gurcharan Singh. You are the candidate for Parliament as well, and you're a councillor. What is your view on the Asian people, how they participate?
Let me correct. I'm not a councillor anymore. I'm an ex-councillor.
Ex-councillor, okay.
Conservative parliamentary candidate for this law, which includes Slough and Langley.
Okay.
As far as my views of the participation is concerned, I think this is the only right we get in this country and in any other democratic country to vote. In a lot of other countries, people would die for this kind of a right. So it's extremely important that we have a stake in the government, we have a stake in the parties, and we participate actively. Sometimes we simply go and vote and come back, then whole of 4 or 5 years we moan about it.
Let me ask you, how much you rely on the Asian vote for your
but there are
election?
There are a number of constituencies where...
I'm talking about your constituency.
Oh yeah, of course. In Slough, it's a really multicultural, multiracial, and multi-faith constituency. If I can divide all these into different segments or different constituents of this one. Largest ethnic minority vote comes from Muslim population, which is 17,000 votes. And 10,638 comes from Sikhs, 3,998 from Hindus. Then there are Christian population, then there's a white population. White population is about 45%.
So majority of the voter is the Asian people?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And they vote differently. And there's normal analysis, but I'm sure gentlemen over there will do it. Normally, Asian tend to vote for the Labour Party. White population tend to vote for Conservatives. But shift is taking place, as I see on the floor now or on the ground there at the moment. And that shift is taking place for a number of reasons.
Let me ask Mr. Bhatti.
Sure.
He is also a very experienced councillor. Mr. Bhatti, what do you think about this election? The Asian people will go with which party, you think?
I don't say which party the Asian people will go. I think this presumption is about this, you know, that most of the Asian people go for the Labour Party. Although I'm representing Labour Party, it's easy for me to say yes, most of the people are voting for the Labour Party from the Asian community. But nowadays the time has changed, you know, the people know about their rights, especially youngsters coming up nowadays. They have their own mind. They don't want to go follow their parents or follow their family systems. But in some areas, I do understand that most of the peoples are going with the family matters, and they are really voting for the families, and that is not right. I would say definitely to request all the Asian peoples who are living in this country, country has given you right to vote, and you have to vote sensibly, and the party you really think is represent you. But I would definitely say the Labour Party is very close with the Asian and ethnic minority party, and I hope the people will consider Labour Party is the best party for the voting for this year.
But at the moment there has been the figures. The figures have come through quite recently, and they've been very widely published. And I agree with the gentleman over there. That old tradition has almost vanished now. And as far as Labour is more closer to the working people, there was a report recently. It says Conservative Party is the only party now working class party, not the other way around. What used to be.
We can talk more about this, Mr.
And if you look at it, when Labour left, Labour is the only party when it was in government. 1 million people, 1 million people became unemployed. And since we came to the power, we created 1.9 million more jobs, 2 million apprentices. So I think that myth that Labour represents the working class is not here anymore.
Let me take the other people on board first. Let's
may I answer these questions quickly?
We will ask the questions after. Let everybody participate at first, please.
My dad was a staunch Labour man, because at that point he realized that he was an immigrant. He had to find work, and the unions were there, and he needed their support. However, now, being a mum and a grandmother, I feel, from my personal view, that the most important thing is that which party deals with unemployment, because my kids need work. Which party deals with housing, because it's so difficult for a young person to buy a house, even a first-time buyer on incomes that they get. What I'm really concerned about is the NHS, and I think that the Labour Party, though they scream and shout that the NHS is safe in their hands, it actually isn't. If you have a vision that you want to make sure that the NHS is a progressive healthcare service fit for the 21st century, then you need to make changes. And if you don't make these changes, well, we've said we'll give 6 billion. What are they going to do about it?
Okay, let's ask the young councillor.
I would say that the values of the Labour Party are very much aligned with the values of a lot of Asian people, and that's why Asian people vote for Labour and will continue to vote for Labour. No matter what the people sitting around me are saying, it's the Asian people that are going to vote for Labour, because they know that it's the Labour Party that cares about equality. That's the belief. And it's only the Labour Party that's going to really do what is needed in this country. I mean, the lady over there is talking about the NHS and how the Conservative Party is going to put 6 billion into the NHS. Well, it's actually 8 billion that they're saying they're going to put in, so she doesn't even know the basic figures. But I would say that it's only the Labour Party that's always going to put the NHS at the forefront of its agenda, not the Conservatives. Under the Conservatives, you can't even get an appointment with your GP.
Okay.
The A&Es are missing their targets.
Let's go to the Tory camp again. Young man, you put your...
Yes, my name's Kulveer Ranger, and I've been a former candidate in a general election in 2005. I've been vice chairman of the Conservative Party, and I've worked for the Mayor of London for 4 years. But your first point about how voting patterns are changing is important, because I think what your viewers and people are now thinking about is what's right for their family, for their children, and for the future of the country that they are living in. And we can talk about fairness. I think the big question about fairness from the Labour Party should be, after presenting this country with its deepest recession since the war, after leaving the country's finances on its knees, after having a huge scale of unemployment that this government has worked, and David Cameron and George Osborne have made difficult decisions about to deal with the structural finances of this country, because we have had a long-term economic plan to get this country working. That is fair. Because what we want to do is not saddle future generations with billions of pounds of debt. Debt for students, debt for people who can't buy houses, debt that is just not going to be paid back, and that's what this government has done over 5 years. And that's the case the Prime Minister is making to continue the good work that they've been doing to the electorate now. I think that is what fairness is about. Those are the principles that the Conservative Party is putting forward. Prosperity for all, a long-term economic plan, and being fair to the future generations and your family. I think that's why your viewers are looking to vote Conservative.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Kang, what he's saying.
Well, actually, I think in a different way than the Conservatives. In my view, because I'm a councillor for the last 18 years in West London area in Southall. I've seen the majority of Labour MPs, especially in Ealing Southall, is going up and up. So we can't say that the people are shifting towards Conservative Party. I understand the point is the young people who are grown up in this country, they have got independent thinking about the politics of this country. And we were, as Asians, from the very beginning, we have been supporting Labour Party because when we came in this country, naturally the union's policies and the Labour Party policies were in the interest of the Asian workers at the shop floor, and they were attracted and supported to the Labour Party and unions at that time.
Yes.
So since then, maybe little bit shift from the young people's side, but they think independently, but still the Labour Party in the Asian and the black ethnic minority people, they are still supporting in majority.
That's your belief, Mr. Kang. Let me go to the voters. Yes, you will be given a chance, Mr.
I was a candidate last time around in Ealing Southall, and I got the biggest swing for the Conservative Party against the Labour, and Labour majority has come down. It did not go up. It was factually wrong of Councillor Singh.
We are not far from 7th of May, and we will see what happens.
Actually,
let me go to the voters, please.
I was just saying, I said 6 billion just to make sure if the Labour Party was still awake, because they seem to be taking the ethnic minorities for granted.
Correct any time. Oh, okay.
Can I just say, at least the Labour Party knows how it's going to help the NHS and where the money's coming from. The Conservatives have been asked again and again, where's this 8 billion going to come from for the NHS? And they have not once been able to give an answer to that.
Let me go to the voters. Okay.
Please ask your Conservatives.
I will. No, let me go to the voters first, and then you will be given the cross talk. Just 1 minute, please. Mr. Sheikh?
I think it's a good question, because you should be able to ask, where is the money coming from for a proposition? This Conservative government has invested 7 billion into the NHS over this government, and that's because it's got the money from the economy booming and money coming in, and it's spent 7 billion. It is going to continue that. The cuts that are looking to come through will be less than the next government are being proposed by the Conservative Party, and it can find a further 8 billion to invest. The problem for the Labour Party is it doesn't know how it can't commit to the figure that the NHS themselves have said that they need, which is what the Conservatives are saying, the Prime Minister is saying will deliver for the NHS because they need that money. Labour will not even commit to giving that money to the NHS. They say they are the party that will look after the NHS. They can't commit to giving the money to the NHS.
Let me take a short break. We take a short commercial break and we'll be back right now. Please stay with us.